only Keith Anderson. Good morning and a big Radio Northwich welcome to Keith Anderson. Yay!
Good morning.
So, Keith, you're amazing.
Not really.
You are. Now you might have to get a bit nearer to the mic.
No, I wouldn't say I was amazing. I always say broken individuals like me fix broken individuals like me, and we live in a time where there's a lot of brokenness and a lot of people need healing, and I just try and be that person that brings people a little bit of comfort and hope.
Wow. So, Keith Anderson, growing up, where did you grow up, Keith?
So I grew up in a place called Hurst Cross in Ashton-under-Lyne,
okay,
which is Tameside. Oh, wow, what a place it was. You wipe your feet on the way out. It's not a nice part of the world, and I didn't really have a great childhood, to be honest. It wasn't a fantastic place to grow up. I went through school. I was quite academic, but I was very, very dyslexic. Right. So everything that I've achieved in life, I've kind of winged it.
No, you've got such a personality. No wonder you've been able to wing it, because you have got the personality. You've got the winged it effect written all over you in buckets, because you've come in here and me and Erin are like, wowzers. So Ashton-under-Lyne, what did little Keith want to be when he grew up? Where did he see himself as a teenager?
Certainly not where I am now. If you talk to the people I grew up with, if there's anybody that's listening, maybe they can answer that question better than I can. I was this really skinny, really nerdy kid who loved Star Trek. And
did you love Star Trek?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I still love Star Trek, and I'm still a geek. And now I'm like this crazy chaplain guy that does loads of stuff for charity, that works hard to, I ride my bike everywhere. I'm a force for good, and I don't think anybody, and certainly not me, saw that coming. Wow. I was always compassionate. I always cared for people, but if you'd have told me even 10 years ago that I'd have been sat here talking about mental health and the need for greater community outreach and cohesion, I'd have probably laughed at you.
Wow, that is amazing. So when you left school, what happened when you left school? Did you go to upper sixth and lower sixth?
No, so I started work. I worked for the Chinese for my first job, and I can still speak Chinese now, which is interesting.
So what did you do for the Chinese?
I worked as building maintenance for a restaurant called the Yang Sing.
How amazing!
So like Bon Bon Sao is give me a hand, and like Zhou San is good morning and stuff like that. And my Chinese friends, they still laugh that I can speak Chinese even now. Mostly swear words, by the way. So it was, but again, I was just this young lad, and I'd had this troubled childhood as well. I was completely out of control as a teenager. I'd go through thousands of relationships. That's a complete lie. My wife's listening as well. Don't listen to that.
He didn't mean that.
I didn't have any relationships.
Forget. He's forgetting it's live.
So I went through failed relationships because I didn't know how to bond with people properly, because I didn't have that environment growing up.
Bless you.
And I really struggled to find my way. And what I found my way in was hardcore music. And I still speak to Kayleen Scar, if she's listening, perhaps she is. She's a great friend of mine. MC Watsy is a great friend of mine. These names will mean nothing to you, but to me, they were like the people that I grew up around, and I lived for the rave, and I lived for music. So when you talk to me about how you made your way through your troubles through music, I was exactly the same, and that gave me purpose and direction. So yeah.
And the funny thing is, when I said to you, we did a few voice notes last week, and I said to you, I'll need you to send some tracks in, and you went, oh my life, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So when I asked you for the tracks, was that a difficult choice? Because I'm only giving you 4 tracks, and you love music from all different genres, don't you? Difficult
in a sense of, see, the pieces of music that I've picked are very special to me, and we'll talk about them when you've played them or before you play them, for a specific reason, each and every one of them. Difficult in the sense of, like, if I said, let's play such a track by DJ Gamma, your listeners are not going to want to listen to that, you know what I mean? But to me, that was fantastic music. So difficult in that sense, but no, not difficult really, because the pieces that I've chosen are linked to what we're going to talk about to do mental health, and also linked to how wonderful my family is. Like, all the good that I do, and I know my missus is listening, and
what's her name?
Emma. And she Emma. Honestly, like, she'll say to me, like, she's messaged me, I'm proud of you. No, she's the driving force behind this, because when I've had a really garbage day, when I've been out to support a family, she's the one who goes, do you want a beer? Do you need looking after? And I'm not easy to look after because I'm a man's man. I'm sat here in my motorcycle vest, and no doubt it's frustrating for her. So thanks goes out to Emma and all. You know, I don't say it often enough to her, but I love her dearly, and she's a great support to me. And to all the people I help and all the people that have listened that I've ever helped, I couldn't have done it without her. So you owe her as well.
Oh, so when did you meet Emma?
So I was working at a nursing home in Widnes. And we'd been talking, and I said to her,
was she working there at the same time?
No, so we met online, but I was working at this home, and I said, listen, I'm some kind of crazy minister, you know, and this isn't the life for everyone. Because it's not what you imagine. This is not what you imagine when Brian Wiggins, if he's listening, will tell you the same thing. I'm the sweary minister. He sent me a letter with some Andy's Man Club stuff in, and it said the effing vicar on it. So I said, we're going to get it. If you're going to be with me, this is going to be hard. And it is hard, God love her, because she does.
Did you tell her that right from the beginning?
Yeah, I did, because I was like, "This is."
You're honest.
Yeah, because it's important. It's important, and I didn't want her to be in any illusion that being with some kind of crazy guy who gives his life to others is going to be easy. Because sometimes I give myself to everybody in absolute droves.
Yeah.
And I'm not there as much as I'd like to be sometimes, and I feel guilty about that a little bit. But anyway, so I'd gone to drop off some medication, and because the way the times were, they said come in at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'd only been together a few weeks, and somebody pulled out me on my motorcycle, and I went over the bonnet and broke my leg, and I couldn't do anything for myself. And Emma said, well, we've only been together a couple of weeks, but you need to stay with me because
oh, Emma, I'm loving Emma already.
Yeah, she's the best thing in the world, honestly, the most kind, caring person you could ever hope to meet. She is. So she looks after me, and that really kicked off what was to be our relationship. Then lockdown happened, and then baby Alicia happened, who's now 2.5. Who's that really for me was it was a period of transition. Lockdown, I was one of the only members of clergy that could get into nursing homes because I was also working as a carer. So I was giving the last rites. I was dealing with people who were poorly. People were coming to me and asking me, what's going on? Why? If there's a God, Keith, why this? It was very difficult.
Do you know what we've done, though? We've jumped around a bit, and we've not gone at all chronological, because I don't want people to get mixed, because we've not even talked about how you've come to be in that role. So we've mentioned Emma.
Yeah.
Emma, you superstar.
Yeah.
Absolute superstar. So we will going to play a piece of music, and then we'll collect our thoughts and get where we're going to go properly. Because your life is that amazing. I don't want to miss a single segment of it. But your first song, tell me about this by the Pogues.
So it's funny because we talk about Emma. So I've got baby Alicia, who is my world. I'll show you a picture in a bit. She's the best thing ever. She's great. Bless her little soul. So I've got two stepsons as well who call me Keith. So baby Alicia calls me Keith as well.
Oh, does she? That's so funny.
So obviously, I was really worried when we were having Alicia because I've got a great relationship with Leighton and Dominic, my two stepsons. And Leighton was like, can we go to football? Can we go to football? Can we go to football? And I don't really like football. But I said, okay, we'll go. And I took him to Salford City. And the song that Salford City play when they bring the players out is this song.
Wow.
So that's why I picked it, because it reminds me of great family times. And we're going there on Saturday as well.
Are you going on Saturday?
Yeah.
I think more people should watch Salford City and teams like Witton Albion after the horrible performance that we saw at Wembley at the weekend, which was a disgrace. So anyway, moving on, here is Dirty Old Town by the Pogues.
I met my love by the gasworks wall. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Clouds are drifting across the moon. Cats are prowling on their beat. Springs a girl from the streets at night. dirty old town, dirty old town. I heard a siren from the docks. Saw a train set the night on fire. I smelled the string on the smoky wind. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I'm gonna make me a picture box, shining steel, tempered in the fire. I'll chop you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I met my love by the gasworks wall. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town.
Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day. Reach new customers in Northwich, Cheshire and across the Northwest with Radio Northwich. We create relaxed and friendly adverts for your business. And with our affordable and cost-effective advertising packages, you'd be crazy not to. Call us now or visit radionorthwich.co.uk to start promoting your business today. Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day.
So here we go. This is Kim Smith. This is Radio Northwich. It is Wednesday. It's the 24th of April. And I'm joined in the studio by an amazing chap. I told you it's going to be like peeling an onion because when this guy walks in his leathers and his tattoos, and you're part of the clergy, how on earth did that happen, Keith? How did that happen?
I remember asking myself the same question. I had to do a really big funeral, and I've not been doing it long. And I was with this lady, a wonderful minister whose name I forget, at Prescott Parish Church in Liverpool. And I was stood there in a suit to deliver this funeral service and this eulogy, and she was stood there in all her gowns, and I thought, how have I ended up here? Like, how has this happened? I guess I said to you, at the start, my family life wasn't brilliant growing up. I met this guy, an amazing guy, who won't be listening. He's called Russ Lamont. He's a primary school teacher. Brilliant man. And he was just magnetic. He had that something about him. You looked at him and you needed to listen to him. And I said to him one day, what is it about you that is special? And he said, it's Jesus. And I laughed at him. And God forgive me, do you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have done that, regardless of what my beliefs would change to. And he said, well, come to church with me. And I think I was loved by these amazing people, really, really amazing people, like Ronnie Evans, who was my pastor. He said to me, grandchildren are a reward for not killing your own kids.
You tell me that. You tell me that.
And they just showed me a whole new family and a whole new life. And then the turning point, really, where I decided that I was going to be somebody who was going to be actively involved in changing people's lives as opposed to somebody who just ate the communion wafers and drank the wine, was we did a homeless shelter. So we took all the chairs out, we took all the seats out, and we set out camp beds in Oldham. Every church was a different night. So our night, Furwood Church, would be a Monday night, St John's, and so on and so forth, till we were finished. And I saw all these people come in, they were broken. who were addicted to drugs, who'd had failed relationships, and I realised at that point that if you don't fill your life with something good, you're going to fill it with something negative. Now, for us, it's music.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For some people, it's God. For you, it might be going to Wembley.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't fill that void in your heart with something, you may well fill it with the wrong things. And that for me was the point where I was like, yeah, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to train, and I'm going to, yeah. So I was a chaplain in a Methodist church. I got made redundant at Christmas because churches are just, you know, like St. George's Day today, everyone's saying, you know, we need to get behind this, we need to get behind it, but nobody's filling churches, you know, everyone's full of...
Why? I'm somebody who doesn't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I call myself a Christian.
Yep.
And I feel the need. My mum and dad, my dad died not that long ago, but my mum and dad are part of Grapnell Church, and what they've got from Grapnell Church in their older years has been fantastic. And I feel that I need to start going to church.
Yep.
And I am going to go to church. Definitely, I'm going to go to church because I feel sad that these beautiful tall buildings that, as a kid, we went to church. My parents said, "Sing in the choir. You get paid for going." That was our, incitement. You get paid for going. You sing at weddings and stuff. So we were brought up going to church, and then when you go off and get married, but why? Why are these?
I think, you know, we spoke before about COVID. Social media, people who research social media reckon there was more done for social media in that year period than would have happened in 10 years. People engage in the faith in a different way. One of the leading questions during the COVID pandemic was, how do I pray? Is God real? Because people were scared.
Oh, petrified.
You know, but people were also engaging with the faith in a different way, and people realised that, do you know what, I don't have to listen to Keith the Crazy Chaplain. I can bring up Billy Graham on my phone, sit in bed, eating Whatsits, you know, that I don't have to engage in that. Also, you've got to remember that 50 years ago, 60 years ago, Sunday morning, shops were shut on Sundays. You know, you either went to church or you went to the pub.
Absolutely.
You know, whereas now we've got phones, we've got TVs with 27 million channels.
Yeah.
So people's lives have changed. And, you know, although faith doesn't really change and the human condition doesn't change, the way that society has changed, and I'm not necessarily sure it's for the better either. We're bombarded. You know, to sit down and have a conversation like us two are having now is quite rare.
Yeah.
Because we swipe, we get bombarded with news feeds and information. You know, to have this kind of conversation, it's not that common anymore. So, I don't know, I think over the next 10, 20 years, maybe we'll see even bigger changes. Perhaps people will move more towards this kind of media. I hope so.
Oh, I hope so.
I really do. And I hope that people learn how to communicate more effectively, because that's one of the biggest issues that we face. You know, somebody leaves a comment on a Facebook post, you read that in the wrong tone, 2 centimetres can destroy a friendship.
Absolutely.
You know, so...
The thing, I totally get that. I mean, I'm older than both of you, and obviously, we grew up, you know, your family lived on the same road, so if your mum wasn't in, your grandma was there, or your auntie was there, and... people spoke because they didn't have a mobile phone. I mean, I'm dreadful. I text my husband downstairs when I go to bed early and go, will you bring me a cup of tea up? You know, everybody does it, and it's dreadful. Social media has made us antisociable and not willing to talk. Sometimes people say, I'm a guest on your show, will you phone me? And I think, what's wrong with them? I don't want to have a phone conversation. I can do it all in text. And I'm as guilty as anybody. But I feel that I need to know why. How can we get people to go back to church? Because I'm sure... that when you walk in those iconic... those buildings are just beautiful. And they make you feel better, don't they, just walking in?
And I think that's part of what we're doing with Walk the Bridge, is that I've realised... And Walk the Bridge isn't a religious movement, by the way. It's just simply peer-to-peer support to help people through the darkest times and to signpost people to services. But I think that... because the churches aren't necessarily full and people aren't going to come up to me and have those conversations about what might be going on in their life, we need to bring that to them.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean? So, like I say, Walk the Bridge isn't a religious aspect. People know who I am. If you look at my cut, it says Padre on it because that's my road name because I'm clergy. So people know, you know, that if they want that conversation, they can have it. But also, people don't want it thrown down the throat either. So we live in a really delicate time with religion,
tough,
you know,
it?
and we live in a where it's political correctness and people are afraid of having an opinion in case of offending somebody, and It's a very, very strange time. I've got very, very strong opinions, about a lot of things. I'm loving and I'm caring and I'm kind, but sometimes I'm not very nice because I say things as they are.
I know, exactly. And that's the thing. Do you think it's... Now, if I choose my words carefully, do you think it's gone old-fashioned? Do you think that's what's happened? Because we are turning into a country that I'm not very proud of for a kick-off. And, everybody seems to be that diverse, and you could sit in church and you knew most people because you were all from the same community, and it was a way of, when I listen to what they do at Grappenhall Church, they all have coffee and cake afterwards, and they invite the kids, and it seems to be a really rare community that the church is full most Sundays. It's a shame if churches aren't, isn't it?
It is a shame. I don't know what we can do to change it. Statistics say we won't even be a Christian country by X time. I'm still out there fighting a good fight.
Absolutely.
I'm still me, and whatever banner I do that under, whether it's Walk the Bridge, whether it's the Methodist Church, whoever it is that I'm fighting the good fight with, I will fight that fight with every breath that I've got.
Wow.
And that was difficult for me to realise. Once I'd lost my identity in the church, when I'd lost my chaplaincy position, I was like, all right, okay, now what?
Yeah.
Whereas, so I've really had to reset, and now I'm working in crisis mental health units. Now I'm working out on the streets. Perhaps it's even been a blessing in disguise, because now I've not got those boundaries of this is a church wall and out there isn't. Now what out there is just out there, and I need to get into those people and help them. That is
amazing.
And that's not done because I'm scared of God. That's done because I love people, and I've been the most lost. I've gone through failed relationships. I've slept on couches. I've slept in parks, and I don't want any person to feel that alone. That's why we call it Walk the Bridge, because we're walking from one side of this trouble with you to the other side, because you shouldn't have to fight by yourself, no matter what you're going through.
I could feel in tears. What an amazing man you are. I'd love to come and listen to one of your sermons.
Well, you say that, but we touch on everything, There's nothing out of bounds, but I even did a sermon with OnlyFans in it once. I mean, we spoke about it. There was no content.
No, but I just think, what an amazing... You've just really inspired me. What an inspiring chap. Now, we're going to go to the second piece of music, because when we come back, we're going to talk about Walk the Bridge massively, because that's what we're here to talk about. Your second song, Calvin Harris. Tell me about Calvin Harris and why he's important in kids' life.
This song is absolutely fantastic. So, I really struggled throughout COVID with my mental health. I was put on propanol, which is an anti-anxiety tablet. Because I was fighting too hard, the good fight, and I wasn't giving time for myself. And we were expecting Alicia, and I was scared to death. And I feel really guilty saying that, because I was, and she's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, but in COVID, you weren't allowed to go with Emma. It was dreadful. I mean, I remember... one of the men's mental health clubs saying that they would go outside maternity units and approach men that were sat in the car crying because they couldn't be in the maternity unit with the wives.
But so when Alicia was born, everything was perfect. She was just wonderful. And the song that I was listening to at the time was this. And no matter what if I ever hear this song, and anybody that knows it knows it, and it just makes my heart smile. And when you work in mental health, you talk about protective factors, and my family is my protective factor, and this song just gives me that feeling.
Do you know, honestly, and on a different day, if you'd have not broken your leg, who'd have said that you may never have moved in with Emma, and Emma had taken care of you? Sliding doors, isn't it?
Madness.
Madness. Here we go. This is By Your Side. This is Calvin Harris.
When you wake up in the morning and you're shadowed by the darkness of the night. When you wake up in the morning, darling, I'll be by your side. When you get a little lonely and you lose your rhythm, don't give up the fight. When you wake up in the morning, darling, I'll be by your side. I'll be by your side.
Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day.
Can you hear the bell ring? Then maybe it's time to visit Chime. Chime is located in the picturesque village of Hertford, offering a great selection of drinks from our bar, from cocktails to craft ales. In the kitchen, our talented chef uses local ingredients to produce a menu full of variety. Keep an eye out for our special offers from Wednesday through to Sunday. We'll see you when you make time to visit Chime.
CRS offer over 40 years' experience in providing excellent insurance and financial services to the people of Northwich and beyond. At CRS, we give you impartial, independent advice for all your financial and insurance needs. To find out more, pop into our friendly offices in the Bullring. Visit our Facebook page at CRS Consultants or call 01606 48521. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day.
Right, here we go. This is Wednesday, it's the 24th of April. I am so in awe of my guest today, and I knew we'd get on because I was sat outside, sat in the car park last week, and we had some voice notes, didn't we, when I was waiting to pick Oscar up, which is my Wednesday treat. It's Wednesday again, and I knew we'd get on, but you have just blown me away. Absolutely. No wonder Emma and your family are proud of you. So, Walk the Bridge. Whose idea was Walk the Bridge?
So
Keep it nearer. That's it.
Sorry, yep.
No,
so Walk the Bridge was originally set up by 12 veterans in America, and they were concerned about the number of people who were committing suicide. They were concerned about the amount of soldiers and frontline first responders that didn't have access to treatment for PTSD, or they didn't know that they had PTSD at all. So they decided they were going to do something which was easy for people to do. It's just a walk. You know, anyone can do it. Not asking for money, just come out, we'll raise awareness, and that was how it started. That was 5 years ago. Since then, the idea's gained, it's gathered legs. There's a Walk the Bridge in London that's hosted by Stitch Colley. So we all have these road names. Bikers are crazy people. So my road name's Padre, Stitch is Pete Colley's Stitch, and he runs the one down in London. So if you are interested in coming along to a Walk the Bridge event or finding out more, just look it up, Facebook, social media. Even
so it's just hashtag Walk the Bridge? Hashtag
Walk the Bridge, or walkthebridge.org is the main site for America, and then you'll get in touch with one of us who are the bridge captains, and I'm the bridge captain for the north of England.
Wow. So you're the bridge captain. Another responsibility. You've got loads of different hats you have, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Life's short.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But all these different hats, they don't... Now, we spoke about mental health, and you've said in the past you've struggled. Sometimes wearing lots of different hats weighs heavily on your shoulder. Are you able to take off a hat when you go home and be lovely dad and stepdad to your family and lovely husband to Emma? Or do you sit and brood about whatever you've dealt with?
There's only been a few times, and Emma will know this listening, that I've ever really took the impact of something on and taking it home with me. I've done funerals for stillborn babies free of charge. So SANS, the Stillbirth and Neonatal Charity, are one of the charities that Walk the Bridge supports, and we raise awareness. We don't ask for money for SANS, we just raise awareness, so we'll give out leaflets. So when the time comes, if somebody needs that service, I remember being on Walk the Bridge and we got that leaflet. I remember hearing about something, because when you're in crisis, you don't know those charities are there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, for example, somebody putting a leaflet about losing weight through your door. You might stick it on your fridge, on a fridge magnet, but it's only when you realise you need to lose weight that you grab the flyer. Yeah. So, somebody would see SANS and think, oh, yeah, they put that somewhere, but it's when they need it that they sort of think, hang on, So
Walk the Bridge... The Walk the Bridges in America still specifically deal with veterans. I'm not a veteran. Right. I've never been in the forces. I'm a frontline first responder and key sort of frontline mental health worker. But for me to talk about being shot at, people think I'm as a fraud. Yeah. So when I brought it to the north of England, I specifically challenged the areas of mental health that I know about and I'm aware of.
That is amazing.
So we did the one at the Anderton boat lift. what I wanted to do there was celebrate British industry. It was St George's Day coming up, and the everyday heroes, that have built this country, but have also sacrificed a lot. I watched my grandfather pass away of COPD that was related to working in industry. So we got the Cheshire Asbestos Support Group, which work with families that have been affected by asbestos. We got Mesothelioma UK involved. So,
and is that a cancer?
That's a cancer, yeah.
Asbestos?
It's a specific sort of cancer to do with the lungs and specifically caused by asbestos. So, but like next month we're doing it with Trauma Breakthrough, and we're doing it about childhood trauma again, which is something I know about, so I can talk about it in detail. The month after that we're doing it with a guy in Wakefield who's a mental health first aider who suffers with bipolar, but uses that to bless other people. So he uses his energy. So we keep on building these networks, and then I shared the picture with it, didn't I? How many
honestly,
charities that we've worked with, so that we can then, because I want as many people to know that these groups are available. Talk about Brian Wiggins. Brian Wiggins and the work he does with absolutely amazing charity, Andy's Man Club. But the trouble is that people, when they're in crisis, they don't know that those things are there. And I can say that firsthand because I suffered like that. And then when I was suffering with anxiety, I was given a prescription for propanol, and away you go. But all this support's there behind the scenes, and that's another reason why it's called Walk the Bridge, because there's a massive gap in NHS frontline services and the services that should be provided, and that gap has to be filled by people like Andy's Man Club,
absolutely,
Trauma Breakthrough, and
Chris
so on.
Judge.
Exactly.
Directions to Men. We love Chris Judge here on Radio Northwich.
So we're bridging that gap in mental health services is filled, but people don't know about it. So we are simply a signposting service. If you come to Walk the Bridge, we won't ask you for any money. We will not tackle your trauma there either. We're not a counsellor, so we don't walk and tackle your trauma. Although I am training trauma response because you may get triggered. But it's just a walk, and we'll fly the flags, and we'll have a cup of coffee, and it's good. That's good in itself for your mental health, and the social media impact is massive.
Absolutely. So where did you walk then? What bridge did you walk at?
We went along the boat lift at the top, down and then along the canal a certain way up, and then back with all our. I'll post the pictures up on
the video.
Your group.
That is amazing.
So it's really good, and it's good for people when you're in crisis, when you're having a mental health catastrophe. You don't think you're important, and what Walk the Bridge says is every month I'm going to get out of bed for you, whoever you are, and whoever you are listening to this. If you're struggling with your mental health, you are worth recovery, because people like me and you fix people like me and you, and that's the entire premise of what I do, is that if you are broken, you have the map and the strategy for somebody else to get out of the mess that you've once been in, and I think that is the most powerful thing. So no matter how broken you are, it's the old saying, it broken crayon still colour. We're still of use.
I love that saying, and I don't know whether I've seen that on your wall, but I've seen that recently, because what happens is somebody sees a post, shares it, and then other people share it on social media, which is great. Without people like you, and without Chris Judge, and without Brian Wiggins, so many people would be in a mess, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we are suffering with a mental health epidemic. 1 in 4 people will suffer with some mental health problems. That's just now, this moment in time. I think there's 1 in 6 people will report a new mental health condition each week.
Oh my goodness.
Again, I'm pulling them statistics off memory, so if they're wrong, don't shoot me. But either way, whichever way you cut it, we're suffering with a mental health epidemic. And those numbers go underreported. Brian will tell you, Andy's Man Club, these people that come to Andy's Man Club, they're going there because it's men that can sit and talk together and peer support. They don't want diagnosing with a mental health issue. They just want somebody to listen to them, unfortunately. Yeah. So we are in a mess. Yeah. But the only way we're going to get out of that mess is by people, and that's why I am so open about my mental health struggles, because I think if people think Keith, the crazy biker who sits there in his cut, who does these amazing things, like you say you're in awe of me, I don't think there's anything really that special, but if Keith the crazy biker can do it, if Keith the mad chaplain can talk about his mental health struggles, then so can I. And if that saves one person's life,
absolutely,
then it's worth it. It's worth talking about the trauma, it's worth talking about how bad Hurst Cross was as a kid, because that makes other people think, well, I can open up now. The worst thing to feel in this life is alone.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, you're not. You might think you are because you're in crisis, but that's your brain playing tricks on you. You're not alone, because thousands of people are walking through this. Well, we need to do better at talking about it.
We do, and the thing is, of course, we've all gone through as a country lockdown, and whether you agree with lockdown or not, you know, it was a bad time for a lot of people. Yeah. I felt blessed, even though I had cancer, because I had my husband coming in every night, and I had a family that cared. Mm-hmm. So I did a show every day because I wanted to reach out. I just wanted to make somebody smile. Yeah. And the funny thing was, the people who I had on who struggled the most were pop stars. So they would come on as a guest on the phone. And of course, they're used to having people going, "Oh, we love you. We're singing your songs back, our arms are outstretched." They no longer had that. And that was going to be taken away indefinitely as far as they were concerned at the time. And the amount of pop stars I spoke to, and there's one in particular who obviously I won't mention, who told me about his struggles, and I was really concerned, and I still message him every now and again just to make sure he's okay, and we just have a little bit of banter because I don't want him ever to feel embarrassed, because I became his bit of a crutch. And he kept saying, "This is ridiculous, you've got cancer and here I am moaning onto you." And I said, "No, you're not moaning onto me at all, we're just two mates of the same age having a chat." And his chat with me, like your chat with me, was the longest time he'd spoken to another person, even though it was on the phone. Yeah. For about a year. How heartbreaking is that?
And I think that's another point that you raise that people don't realise. You're not burdening people like me and you to be told me talking to you has helped me massively, and they go, "I bet you think I'm a burden." No, I'm glad. I'm so happy. Honestly, when I come home from work and I tell my missus some of the things that I've been through, and she's like, "But you're dead happy about it." Now, I'm not happy that the person's gone through trauma. No. But I'm happy I've had the privilege to help that person through it.
Absolutely.
The other thing, it's interesting you talk about lockdown, and this is something I'm a big advocate of. Now, I was anti-lockdown. I followed all the guidelines. I wore my mask. I sterilised my hands. I scanned the QR codes. I did it all. But I was very vocal about it. Now, you may well have been, no lockdown's necessary. I'm immunosuppressed. You know, I'm going through chemo, so I'm definitely, I would imagine you would have been pro-lockdown.
Oh,
well, it doesn't really matter.
I had no choice, did I? You know, and I had to stay at home a long time.
So the point is, just because we see things differently doesn't mean that we're enemies.
Absolutely.
And we need to do better at that in this country, especially with the social media aspects. If you and I don't agree, then we just don't agree.
I know.
Let's go to the coffee shop next door. Do you want a brew? Yeah. Absolutely. Done with.
Yeah.
We need to do better at disagreeing, because we're not going to agree about everything. But social media makes us split our choice between this is right and this is wrong all the time. And we become very lazy. Instead of putting ourselves in that other person's position, like I can put myself in your position and think, somebody who's going through chemotherapy, of course they're going to be pro-lockdown, and I would absolutely observe that, and I did anyway. You know, somebody who's a frontline first responder who sees people having mental health crisis, sees victims of domestic abuse because they've been locked up with their alcoholic husband, is going to be anti-lockdown.
Yeah.
But being able to see that from another point of view, that's so key, and I think that's something we need to be doing more of.
I absolutely agree. Now, we've had a message in from one of our biggest listeners, Simon, and I'll just read the message. Bear with me. Messages either come in, don't they, on WhatsApp, text, or everything. Right. Kim, I'm in 3 walking groups. I couldn't go today on my Wednesday. He couldn't go today because he's on his Wednesday library walk. If you'd like to come with us next Wednesday, let him know, he said. But it's a wellbeing walk. It's about 2.5 miles, and it's good for my mental health. It gets me out. And Simon lives on his own. He's got a cattery, and he's one of our biggest listeners. And we know we're integral to Simon's wellbeing. You know, he messages us, we play his songs, and you know, people living on their own. We've just become an extension of his family. And yeah, walking and mental health and fresh air, it's proven, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely key. Any kind of physical exercise, anything you enjoy. I love smoked meat. I have a smoker. I've just bought a new one because I've got a tax rebate, and that's my escape. Like,
what do you mean? What are you about?
Oh, like a big American smoker. So I'll smoke some brisket.
Do you?
Oh, it's amazing. So enjoy yourself. Like, you've got one life, and if you enjoy walking,
so you buy some meat and smoke it.
Oh yeah, for like 12 hours in the garden.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I'll start at 7 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee. I'll get the charcoal going. about dinner time, I might open a beer, depending on how I'm feeling, and that's my
absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, whatever it is that makes you happy, enjoy it, because that's what life's for.
Absolutely is. Then we're going to go to another piece of music, just because we're gathering momentum here. We're on 16 minutes to go before 12 o'clock, and you've chosen a great cover version, Blackbird. We were giggling because we couldn't spell this lady's surname, Sarah McLachlan, and I love this. I've never played this, but I did play it this morning.
So again, I picked this because it's around the sentiments of Waterbridge, and anyone's mental health journey, really. Take those broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. So it doesn't matter what you've gone through. All your life, all you were waiting for was somebody to pick you up and say, you are going to be okay. We can take those broken parts and we can put you back together again.
Oh, mate, honestly, are you in awe? I mean, Erin, are you in awe? Just coming into the mic a bit. Coming into the mic. So, you got no idea what was going to be happening here on Radio Northwich. You were nervous when you came in at 9:30.
Yeah.
Are you in awe of what you're listening?
Honestly, so inspirational.
Oh,
he needs to come and talk at Sir John Dean's, doesn't he?
You go have a talk.
You need to come and talk at Sir John Dean's, because it's proven evidence. We will know it well, and we're not allowed to say committing suicide, because I've had somebody on who's a suicide worker, because it's in the olden days it was called committing suicide because it was committing a crime, and they don't say that now, do they? It's suicide. I know you're, yeah.
Yeah. we'll call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's ending your life, and it's passing on all that hurt to other people. It's not getting rid of that pain.
What a great way of explaining that. Passing that pain to other people.
And, I'm not talking about euthanasia. I'm not talking about something that's fought through and you go to Switzerland and stuff like that. That's a different discussion. But honestly, I can't even begin to explain. My inbox is always open. Waterbridge is full of first aiders, mental health first aiders. If you need to talk. Please, if you take anything away from this show, if you're listening, there's people out there that care. And I've been suicidal. I've never attempted to commit, but I've been suicidal. And now look, who'd have thought it? I've got a beautiful family. I've got everything in the world, and I wouldn't have had that if I'd have ever gone through with any of those thoughts, that suicidal ideation. So, yeah, things are crap sometimes. Yeah, things are broken. Yeah, your relationship's gone. I get it. But just because you've got a broken past doesn't mean you can't have a beautiful future.
You're right. And I read something in the paper the other day about a young girl who'd had a row with a boyfriend. He sent her a text at 1:30 a.m. and by 2 a.m. she'd taken her own life. And before that day, she probably never had thoughts. I don't understand how and why that is your next step. If I don't have my boyfriend, that's it, end of. She must have gone into an absolute dark place, because that place is so dark.
Yeah.
It just seems so sad. How in a second it can tip you over.
Yeah.
I mean, how do people know this? And this is what annoys me about social media, how to even start.
Yeah.
And that's another story, because there are ways and places you can go, and I don't know what the dark web is, and I don't even want to try to know what the dark web is. But there are places that you can go to on the web that say, if you want to do this, this is how you do it. Well, for a kick-off, that's disgraceful, isn't it?
I'm at a loss, and I try my best to understand people in that crisis. And I have de-escalated people. I have taught people down. We care enough to walk the bridge for you. We care enough to say that I can't walk the bridge on my own, and neither can you. We'll walk that path together from wherever you are, suicidal intent, ideation. We'll walk the bridge with you. We'll cross it with you. We'll hold your hand every step of the way. And even if you fall behind, we'll catch up with you, and we'll make sure you're all right. And that's what we're for.
It's making me cry. Let's play the tune.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise.
Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day.
Visit Barron's Quay for fun, food, fashion and films. You can enjoy 4 hours free parking while you shop at some of the UK's favourite retail brands, watch a movie or dine at one of the centre's many family-friendly restaurants. For a full list of stores and opening times, visit www.barronsquay.co.uk.
Reach new customers in Northwich, Cheshire and across the Northwest with Radio Northwich. We create relaxed and friendly adverts for your business. And with our affordable and cost-effective advertising packages, you'd be crazy not to. Call us now or visit radionorthwich.co.uk to start promoting your business today. Radio Northwich, playing decades of great music, 24 hours a day.
Goodness me, we've gone in lots of different directions just while the ad break was going there, talking about a bit of my story to Keith. And, you know, when people are desperate, but really are desperate, but they don't want to be here, but they're not going to take that next step. That feeling of desperation can be with you for a long, long time, can't it? And how tough is it to get out of that feeling of, I don't want to be here? And how do we... we've got to get people at that point. We don't want people to go to the next step.
So I suppose that's part of what Walk the Bridge as well, is so that if we had enough frontline mental health workers that could interject with people when they say, I'm not all right, you know, because you don't go from, well, very few people go from being okay one day to being not okay the next. This is a process of a lot of things that happen, and people will call out for help, and people will go to the GP, and those frontline services aren't there. You're given a prescription, you know, you're given try this. You're given some... Pull
yourself together.
Yeah, and that's an old attitude that's not of any great benefit to anyone. The trouble is that you're either not poorly enough to receive the help through the NHS, and the NHS is a wonderful thing. Like say you're a nurse, and I have nothing but respect. I've worked in the healthcare system for a long time. Unfortunately, we're in a time of economic crisis, and there have been real cuts to frontline mental health services. There's no two ways about it. So you go to your GP. You're not poorly enough to qualify for this sort of, high level stuff. You don't qualify for that. So they'll give you a prescription. They may offer you some low level CBT counselling, cognitive behavioural therapy, but it's not enough. So that's where all the charities come in that we liaise with Walk the Bridge. So then what happens is you become really poorly, and then you are suicidal. And then these massive interventions come in. But if there'd have been more low-level stuff, we wouldn't need these massive interventions. And these massive interventions cost billions
Absolutely.
of pounds. But obviously we can't fund. It's a vicious circle,
It
because
is
if
a
we could
vicious
fund
circle,
this
yeah.
low level stuff, we wouldn't have
get
as
to
many
the-
people at the high end of it.
And but if you look at Directions for Men and Andy's Man's Club, where men sit with a coffee or a pint, or they go for a walk, or they go playing golf and talk, because men notoriously don't talk, but men are getting better.
Yeah.
Men are getting so much better at talking, and I know quite a few people who have said to me, I've gone, how are you? And they've gone, I'm fine, how are you? After your cancer, I've gone, fine, how are you? And they go, oh, I'm really struggling with my mental health. Now, I can't imagine years ago that these men would have said that to me.
It's great, and like I said, that's why I'm here today. If this crazy, balding biker guy can be like, look, I've struggled. I have childhood trauma that affected my early relationships. I have all these things that I've unpacked in part today. Obviously, I've not gone into massive detail. But if I've got that and I can be open about that, and you're not judging me.
No.
You know, you're not judging me.
No, we're
or if you're judging me favourably, yeah?
No, well, absolutely not.
So let that be an example to you if you're struggling with your mental health, that the minute that you do almost come out, if you like, the minute that you do say, like, I'm struggling, that people are going to be proud of you for doing that.
Absolutely.
You know, you feel like the people are going to beat you with it because you're in a poor state of mental health, the same way I couldn't run a marathon with a broken leg, you know, because you're suffering with an injury. You may have PTSD, you may have all sorts of things going on. But those things can play games on you, which make the mental health situation seem worse than it is, seem harder to talk about. I'm not diminishing anybody's journey, because they're real things, and it is real.
Yeah, totally.
You know, but when you start to get it out in the open, I'm anxious about this, I'm suffering with this. Well, yeah, I suffered with it too, and I suffered with that, and we got through it like this. And you realise that other people have the plan for you to get out of that mess. Same with debt. You know, debt's a massive driver of suicide. You know, they don't have the death penalty anymore. I owe thousands of pounds, all right? We're all in a crisis of finance at the moment, and I don't give a monkeys, because they're not going to kill me for it. No. And the minute that you realise that, the minute you think, well, who cares? You know, let them take it off. Let them take me to court. What's the worst? You're not going to get a criminal record for having debt. So it's about putting things into perspective. You've got Oscar, you have problems, but you have that protective factor.
Absolutely.
I have my wonderful family, and they're my protective factor. And no matter what mental health crisis you're going through, unless it's extremely severe and you pose a risk to yourself or others, no matter what debt crisis you're going through, those protective factors will remain there. And people will love you for who you are. Nobody cares if you're suffering with bipolar disorder. No, everybody cares that you're suffering with bipolar disorder, but it doesn't affect the way they treat you, because they love you and they want to love you through it. Nobody cares if you're up to your eyeballs in debt, because they want to help you and they want to get you through it. You know, and we're doing a much better job at accepting people for what they are, regardless of what problems they're going through. Because a problem, be that a diagnosis, be it a debt, doesn't define you. You're not bipolar disorder. You're not EUPD. You're not a person with a CCJ. You're Kim or you're Keith.
Yeah.
And that is all you are. You are not a label, no matter what society tells you are. You're not. You're a person. You're a human being who has value. And no matter what you've gone through, you still maintain that value, and you still have value, no matter who you are. And I firmly believe that.
I am absolutely. I'd love to come to one of your sermons.
Imagine turning up for your Holy Communion and I'm stood there. I'm sure people have turned round and gone, nah, it's a mistake. This can't be the minister.
Honestly, I am like a nodding dog, as is Erin, I think. We're just like nodding dogs. What you say makes so much sense, and we need more people like you, Keith. We need more people like you, love, and I need you to come back on the show. And in fact, I had a great guy in last week, and I think we're going to get a bit of I think we'll have a bit of a man's club, say once a month, and get 3 guys in talking about mental health, and let's raise awareness, and let's do something good, and let's really, really help people. And
what we're really good at in this country, as a whole, is we're very good at complaining about things that are wrong, and we're not very good at fixing things that are wrong. Now, I'm a fixer. I see that things are wrong, and I'm giving it my all to fix what's wrong. And, you know, if you feel that, like yesterday, St. George's Day, the amount of posts I saw people going, there's nothing going on. So plan a St. George's Day party. You know, fly your flag. Strong people who know who they are not afraid of people of other cultures, genders, or ethnicities, because they're secure in themselves.
Yeah.
You know? So I firmly believe you should celebrate anything that makes you feel like a strong individual, whether that's transgender, whether it's pride, whatever it is. You be you.
Yeah.
But if you want something to change, be the change you want to see in the world.
Oh, I love this. Honestly, Emma, I bet it's an amazing ride having Keith come home and, yeah. Has she messaged in and said she's proud of you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
She's probably listening.
She's probably typing away as we speak. Anyway, here is your final choice of music, and we're bang on 12 o'clock. But Taylor Swift. Now, you walked in a million years, we wouldn't have thought a Taylor Swift fan, would we, Erin? Erin, you went, oh, Taylor Swift song. You're a Taylor Swift fan, aren't you?
I do like Taylor Swift, yeah.
Yeah, and you're really a sort of a pop indie person, really, from what you've told
definitely.
me. But Taylor Swift has got your vote.
Yeah, definitely.
And you, Taylor Swift, has got your vote.
Oh, Taylor Swift's got my... Listen, it's a bit of a standing joke, to be fair. Big tough biker likes Taylor Swift. So it's probably not my favourite song in the world. But I also like the sentiment of this song. It talks about... she says about her reputation couldn't be worse. And, like entering into things with apprehension, whether there be work experience in a radio station, whether that be a new job. Even Taylor Swift apparently feels like that. So let's take a little bit of something from that.
Well, I think we should take a lot from that. Here we go. Taylor Swift and Delicate.
My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. We can't make any promises now, can we, babe? But you can make me dream. Dive bar on the east side, where you at? Phone lights at my nightstand in the black. Come here, you can meet me in the back. Dark jeans and your Nikes, look at you. Oh damn, never seen that color blue. Just think of the fun things we could do. 'Cause I like it. This ain't for the best. My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. Now can we be? But you can make me dream. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it chill that you're in my head? 'Cause I know that it's delicate. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it too soon to do this yet? 'Cause I know that it's delicate. Isn't it, isn't it, isn't it? Third floor on the west side, me and you. Handsome, near a mansion with a view. Do the girls back home touch you like I do? Long night with your hands up in my hair. Echoes of your footsteps on the stairs. Stay here, honey, I don't wanna share. 'Cause I like it. Listen for the best. My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. Now can we be? But you can make me dream. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it chill that you're in my head? 'Cause I know that it's delicate. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it too soon to do this yet? 'Cause I know that it's delicate. Isn't it, isn't it, isn't it?
Honestly, we've got such an exciting thing, a bit of an exciting vibe going on there in the studio. I'm just speechless. And a message has just come in from Alex, who said, he's asked me to play Zoba the Greek. He's in Corfu. Hang on. Hot Corfu with my friend Dion. Can you play Zoba the Greek dance? We're listening in from Corfu. So we're amazing, apparently. Now that's amazing that somebody's texting to say we're amazing.
It's amazing.
Isn't it?
It is amazing. And, you know, you don't know the impact that you're going to have. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows the impact that you can have on somebody else's life. Like, the beginning of this story, we talked about a guy, Russ Learmont, who I worked with 20-odd years ago, whose kindness set me on a path and altered my life. We talk about a chance meeting with Brian Wiggins from Andy's Man Club. Without all this, would never have been possible. We talk about a guy like Swampy who took me under his wing at the fuel protest. Remember when we were talking?
Yeah.
And he took me under his wing as a biker. Chance meetings with people in life that really alter the course of somebody's life. And everyone who's listening, you know, you could be that chance meeting to somebody
Absolutely.
else. That one kind word, that one cup of coffee that you give somebody, that could alter somebody's life and alter somebody's perspective. You know, that's what it's all about.
Sorry, we had a little bit of interference there. I don't know why. Studio phone was ringing and a tiny bit of interference. I just want to say to you, I'm absolutely speechless. This is the first visit. It will not be the last. It will not be the last because you are... I mean, we just had a guy just come in off the street. I don't mean he's coming off the street, but he's come into the studio talking about mind and honestly... And he was looking you up and down, wasn't he? Because he said, are you a biker?
He said, are you a biker, yeah. Which is, you know, and I purposely... I like the fact that I'm not what people expect. Yeah. I like the fact that I don't think either, and I mean this with the utmost respect to you, but I don't think either of you thought I was going to be the person that I was when I sat there with my cup of coffee.
Well, no, I didn't, because I looked at your pictures. So once again, I've checked you out on social media and seen your pictures and seen your family. So I didn't know how you were going to come in, but I have spoken to you. So because I'd spoken to you and seen your pictures, I'd not got the whole picture. As you walked in, we knew, didn't we? We knew, didn't we, Aaron? We knew he was going to be amazing. As the way he swilled his coffee around in that coffee cup, we knew he was going to be amazing. But I want to say a massive thank you to you. Have you got any shout-outs that you'd like to do before you go?
Oh, wow. So I think I've mentioned pretty much everyone who's important in this journey. Stitch, who's the other bridge captain, and Brian and John over in America, who are the original Waterbridge founders, as well as the remainder of the Southern Dogs LEMC, which is Southern Dogs Motorcycle Club, Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. My missus, my family, and Swampy, Brian, all the people that have been alongside me in this journey and continue to support me, because I can't do it without other people.
Nobody can they?
Like, if I was just soundboarding off a brick wall, there'd be no point, because it's kind of selfish me helping people, because that helps me work through my trauma as well, and it gives me purpose and validation. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me to save someone from themselves and stop them falling into the pitfalls that I'd fallen down in my 20s, like, that gives my life purpose and meaning, you know?
Yeah.
So, just everyone who's been on the journey, anyone that's listening in, say hi, you know, keep tuning in to Kim and a wonderful show. Because this is really important, and without the support of people listening to the show, people like me don't get to come on here and share this message. So do, you know, buy the sponsorship slots, go to the events, do whatever you need to. And the same with Water Bridge. You don't have to attend Water Bridge to support it. You know, we're doing a fundraiser for Trauma Breakthrough, which provides support for people with PTSD and also training for people like myself to deal with people with PTSD. So we're doing a fundraiser for them. Just sharing the post, because people might be sat at home and want to do the walk but can't. So if you see the Walk the Bridge post, share it, because people may still be interested in what we've got to say.
Absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, I think I'll stop wittering on.
I know. Do you know what? We're going to take some photographs in a minute. He's fell back in his chair, Emma. That was such a long sentence. He said... You got any of those? Such a long sentence. Anyway, big shout out again, once again, to my amazing Wednesday show sponsors.
Wednesday's Good Morning Show is sponsored by Right at Home Mid Cheshire. We offer a wide range of services to support clients who wish to remain living independently in the comfort of their own home. Families of all ages trust and rely on us to provide award-winning home care services for their loved ones in and around Northwich. For more details, contact us on 01606 536